यस्त्वाम् आत्मरति एव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तस्य च मानवा आत्मन्येव च संतुष्टस्स्य कर्मं न विद्यते. So today we shall be discussing Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 shlok number 17, and this is a Karma Yoga chapter, and Krishna is explaining about the concept of way to act. Human beings sometimes do not work and they think, I'm not doing any work. But Krishna informed us, no matter what is the situation, what is the time, you are always working. Even when we sleep, we are working through mind. So, natu kaschit shanamapi jatu tishtati akarmkrit. No one can live without working, even for a microsecond. Now, there is a cycle of the creation. Krishna says that when a person performs his prescribed duties, then he gets all the benefit because he is with the nature. We cannot sustain without grains, and grain comes from rain. Rain is under the control of demigods, higher powers, and higher powers are happy when we perform yajna. And yajna is nothing but doing our prescribed duties for the pleasure of God or for the sake of duty. So, when we do our duty, then the higher powers become pleased with us and they provide us all the necessities which is needed for executing our duties perfectly. So, now this is a wonderful cycle through which the whole creation is working. When a person doesn't perform his duties, then he is going against the whole creation and he is trying to create a disturbance in this cycle, and that's the reason that human beings suffer. All the species, whether higher or lower, just experience the resultant of what they have done in human life. Human life is actually a chance to create new action, new karma. Karma theory is one of a very important part of Vedic knowledge, and of course, it is the most logical and sensible one can think of. As we do, so shall you reap. So, this is what it is. But here is a trick. Today's verse Krishna is saying, but for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. Now, it's a very great revelation that Krishna is saying that as his soul, which he has informed us that our true identity is that we are not the physical body or we are not a mental personality, we are a spiritual personality. And this personality has a connection with Lord, is a spiritual in nature, and this soul can never be destroyed. Now, this is our real identity and position. But under the influence of ignorance or Maya, we try to seek pleasure at the physical and mental level, through the body level or society level, and it goes on and on. A person who gets this Vedic knowledge, he tries to take pleasure through the self. Just knowing ourselves that I am a soul and I am undying personality gives unlimited bliss and happiness because you have conquered the death. But this spiritual understanding is not cheap. One has to perform sadhana, one has to follow the spiritual rules and regulation, very carefully protect oneself from the detrimental and harmful habits and bad habits of the society, and should not try to seek pleasure outside, because anything which is bodily pleasure is actually not pleasure, it is just a concoction of pleasure. So this belief in the pleasure actually gives pleasure. Even though a man enjoys a woman or woman enjoys a man, that process doesn't go for long, and they both are fed up with each other and fight and file for divorce, etc. So Vedic knowledge says that unless and until you turn towards the real happiness, the real activity, real bliss, there is no chance of you becoming peaceful. So once we know that I am a soul, so from where this soul has come up? The soul is part and parcel of Sri Krishna. Mame vansho jeev loke jeev bhuta sanatana manashasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. All living beings are my part and parcel. Once we understand this point that soul has a connection with the super soul, and super soul is none other than Sri Krishna in his full blissful form, and we have a wonderful unbroken relation with God. Present situation, we have just forgotten that relation. And once we remember that relation, and once we start executing our services towards Krishna, then the real bliss, happiness, pleasure, and whatever name you give it, it just come to our personality. Even then, we forget the relationship we experience in this world, that a person who serves gets the pleasure, he gets the peace. You know, serving is our nature, serving is our dharma, and eternally service to Lord is the relationship which we have. So unless and until we return to that consciousness, there is no chance of happiness, peace, or anything in this society. Unfortunately, with the progress of material education and material glamour and razzmatazz of so many things, people are forgetting it. India, which is a birthplace of bhakti, but it doesn't mean that Indians have a right over bhakti. Bhakti is open for all, just like sun and water. So bhakti is a universal principle of loving God. So even in this country, nowadays, because of age of industry and so much things which are every day coming up in the market, people are getting away from the real uh, happiness. But thank God that Srila Prabhupada, the great Acharya, he evolved and he spreaded the message of Lord Chaitanya and Krishna in a such way that we can really, really understand it and practice it. Time to time, God sends such great personalities, and time to time, God also descends and rectify the situation. Anyway, the Kali Yuga, which is full of faults, has a one great advantage. Even though everything is spoiled, everything is not worth experiencing, still, Scripture says, Kalo doshe nidhe rajan asti eko mahan guna, kitna deva krishna se mukt sangah param vrijet. Even though this Kali Yuga is full of faults, this Kali Yuga is full of uh, anxiety, depression, and whatnot, still it has one very pure and good quality. And that quality is that just by chanting the name of Krishna morning and evening, just by performing Nam Sankirtan of Krishna, one gets um, one gets perfect happiness and bliss. One is able to protect oneself from all the negative qualities of this age. So an intelligent person thinks, what these Vedas are saying, let me try that. A scientific attitude is that we do not reject a thing unless and until we prove it to be wrong. So, if you hear it again and again that in this present age chanting the name of Krishna is recommended, then you should try it. And we all have tried it, and that's the reason we are trying to share it with our dear friends who are suffering. There are many processes of God realization. Meditation is one of the process of God realization, which is very fashionable these days, but the truth is, the process of meditation is recommended for the age of Satya Yoga, not the present age. People who do not know, they are meditating, but meditation is practically not possible in this present age. Then there is a process of performing yajna to please the Lord, but that process again is not recommended for this age, that is recommended for Treta Yoga. Similarly, worshipping the deity in a grand way is a process of realization Lord in for Dwapar Yoga. Still one can do meditation and deity worship and other thing, but the prime focus should be Nam Sankirtan because that is the recommended process. Harinam, Harinam, Harinam Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Katir Anitha. In this age of Kalik, Kali, there is no other way, no other way, no other way. There is only one way, one way, one way. That is to chant the name of Hari, chant the name of Hari, chant the name of Krishna. So I hope the message is clear. And Krishna says, for such a person who is satisfied in his service, who is satisfied with the knowledge and execution of bhakti at the level of soul and super soul, doesn't have anything to do. Even then, he is always busy serving others, doing his duties so that he can present a great examples for others. Hare Krishna.